Guys, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling, and thanks for tuning in to today's video, because I'm really pissed about what I'm about ready to tell you guys. As you know, I talk a lot about environmental issues on the channel here, because in my opinion, what's more important than, having clean air and clean water, clean air to breathe, clean water to drink, having a planet we can live on. And I just wanted to make you guys aware of the Supreme Court and their continuing war against environmental regulations and protections in this country. Last week there was a court case called Sackett versus EPA, and basically the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the companies to allow them to continue to pollute in lakes and rivers across the country by undermining the Clean Water Act. The Clean Water Act protected over half of these wetlands and rivers across the country. And in this court decision, they basically said that over half of our waters that were formerly protected by the Clean Water Act are no longer going to be protected. And what this means is the companies, like different type of agriculture companies, different type of, whatever companies, they're allowed to dump their wastewater, into different rivers and creeks across the country. And here in Missouri, it's been going on big time. There was some big livestock farm that's filed some suit to be able to allow to dump a bunch of their crap in some of the creeks and rivers in the state, which it looks like they're going to be able to do now with this decision. And the Supreme Court, the conservative majority in the Supreme Court has consistently voted against all of these environmental safeguards over the past 3 or 4 years. They've narrowed the scope of the Clean Water Act, and what they've done with this is they've basically given free rein to companies to pollute more than they ever have in our rivers and streams across the country. And this ought to outrage everybody. I mean, this type of stuff doesn't get covered a lot because it's not flashy. It goes on behind the scenes. But when you put people in positions of power for a lifetime appointment like the Supreme Court that have some type of agenda to side with big business over our environmental protections, that is like some of the lowest forms of life I've ever seen out there. So in essence, what we're going to have is all you guys like to fish here in Missouri, the Elk River, a lot of big rivers in the country, you're going to start seeing, higher levels of pollution in it. You're going to start seeing fish kills. You're going to start seeing warnings against eating the fish, simply because the Supreme Court, the conservative majority in the Supreme Court, this is not to place judgment on, political affiliation. It's just the way it is. This is the way they voted across party lines to undermine the Clean Water Act and allow these companies to pollute at will in these particular rivers and streams. We've seen it before. I've seen fish kills from the Elk River that go into Grand Lake in the past. It's going to happen again in the future. Like I said, all this type of stuff, we have just lost half of our protection in our wetlands with this decision across the entire United States, from one decision by a bunch of by 5 people that don't know any better out there. So the only thing you can do, guys, is just go on the Supreme Court website, voice your opposition, let them know that they need to quit standing up for big business and profits and start standing up for our clean air and clean water. Because, like I said, don't be surprised the next time you float Elk River or some creek, your favorite creek, that you see a bunch of fish floating dead up the water, and you see a bunch of signs on the public use areas about don't swim in this water or don't drink the water, because the Supreme Court just allowed that to happen. So voice your opposition, guys. Don't stand down on it, and I'll continue to keep you updated as I hear more news on this. So thanks a lot. See you.